Alright guys, it's Jay clocking in with the skooma relapse. I'm high off the skooma. Alright guys, today I'm going to be reacting to IGN's experts take on Fallout New Vegas starting tips and tricks. So let's hear what these posers at IGN
If you've
have
always
to say
wanted to
about
play Fallout New
Army.
Vegas but had no idea where to start, don't worry, we've got you covered. Starting a nearly 15-year-old game can be a bit intimidating, especially since the mechanics of this Fallout vastly differ from Fallout 4. So here's all of your best tips and tricks for starting Fallout New Vegas.
My problem with these IGN posers is that if you're playing one video game like me, you're an expert at that one video game. These guys are playing so much video games. It's like they're a multi-sport athlete. Huh? Am I right? Why don't you just tune in on one?
As the game begins, the courier will wake up in Doc Mitchell's house after being treated for their gunshot wound. This is one of the rare instances where you can be in the house that someone else owns and loot everything that's not nailed down.
I'm gonna have to agree.
He has a
with you
ton
on
of
this
stim
one.
packs,
You're
health
definitely
items,
gonna
and
want
other
to
junk
this
you can
house.
hold on to or sell to make
There's
some decent bottle caps
magazines,
before you leave Good Springs.
Med-X on the medical table.
Before robbing Doc Mitchell blind, you'll have to spend some time creating your character and distributing some skill points. If you aren't incredibly happy with what you originally chose, you'll get one last shot at rearranging your skill points before leaving the tutorial area, Good Springs. Slotting your perks into survival key aspects will help at the beginning of your adventure. The repair skill is going to be huge as it saves you from relying on vendors to fix your items. Of course, you also can't go wrong with improving.
Okay, so she picked melee. I'm okay with. We go back a little bit. I'm okay with these two choices. Early on,
Extra items.
lockpick is going to be helpful to get the very easy lockpicks on 25. That's going to get you a lot of extra loot and promote exploring early game. Melee weapons, I feel like there's a better option. Speech is good. Speech is going to make the game, but melee weapons is such a niche thing. I'm not saying they're not good, but most people are going to want to go with guns early on. I mean, survival.
Of course, you also can't go
makes
wrong with
no
improved
sense.
lockpicking.
Survival is also really not important at all if you're not playing hardcore. So I don't know what she's talking about with survival.
That way you don't miss out on extra loot, and putting points to improve your speech will help you get
Make sure
cheaper
you guys
prices
pick
at
Wild
vendors,
Wasteland
and
if you're
may
starting.
even allow you to talk your way out of a dangerous situation.
Wild Wasteland will give you access to unique
Special stands for
random
strength,
events.
perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. Your preferred playstyle will heavily influence how you build your character. For example, I really like sweet-talking my way out of things or just go bonking my enemies to death. So a high charisma, high strength build is my go-to. Just be aware that however you build your stat.
So the problem with high charisma is that when your charisma is really high, you're not putting those points elsewhere to like agility, perception, endurance, luck, things that really help combat and help you in other assets. Charisma, putting it high is what every beginner wants to do, and it's actually not smart. You can upgrade your speech and have low charisma. You want to take your charisma, put it on 1, and then use that to buff your character. Because throughout the game, when you have speech checks, the speech checks are your individual skill, the one that goes from 0 to 100. And it's going to ask you speech checks based on 10, 20, 30, 40, not. Very, very rarely it will ask you for a speech check on your charisma base stat. So it really doesn't make any sense. I'm kind of disappointed in IGN over here for do not upgrade your charisma. Speech will help you as a beginner. Speech will make the game more fun. Upgrade your speech, but don't upgrade your charisma at all. Put it on 1.
Stats. 5 strength is about the
Killing
average
the idea.
requirement for weapons. Endurance will give you more HP and a higher survival
agree
stat
with
and will
strength,
be
you're gonna
handy
want
for
at
specific
least 5.
augmentations later on.
And it's interesting. She doesn't mention luck, which is going to help you get critical hits, which is huge. And you also get luck. Should be high because you want to get easy cards when you're playing blackjack and you're gambling. And the casinos, you can make 30,000 caps from having high luck and being halfway decent at blackjack.
Follow the main quest and go south for the next town after Good Springs, which is Prim. This will be the easier route to learn New Vegas and also explore and earn XP.
I'm gonna agree with
you
her
can start
here.
the questline around the Vicky and Vance casino to rescue the deputy and elect.
And just like how we looted Doc Mitchell's house, for example, when you're in Prim, you're going to want to do the same thing. There's a combat knife in one of the casino rooms. There's a safe with some loot, and then there's some magazines in there. So get that stuff.
A new sheriff. Going north early on can get you some quick good leveled loot early on, but it is also full of death claws that are way overpowered for you in early levels.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even gonna want to go if you haven't played this game a bunch of times. Don't go to New Vegas off the rip. Don't do that. Just the game doesn't want you. You're exploiting the game's doing that. The game wants you to just play the game and do the story, and then explore. So that's how it works.
Going south and exploring the questline as instructed is the best way to go.
I would agree.
You'll stumble across the NCR very quickly after leaving the tutorial area. Do not make the mistake of becoming their enemy, since it'll be extremely difficult to evade their wrath. Instead, aim to be as neutral as possible with each faction starting out, so you can properly explore and level up before taking on all the organizations.
I'm gonna have to hard disagree with that. I can't believe she's saying, take it easy with them in the beginning, because in the beginning, you actually get a free pass to do whatever you want to the factions, specifically the Legion and the NCR. You could kill them, you could get hated, and then when you start messing around with Mr. House, they clean the slate. So it's the exact opposite of what she's saying. You want to watch it later in the game when you don't have that free pass, but in the beginning you have a free pass. Now, I'm not saying attack these people, but I mean this makes no sense. You might die early on, but these are good options early in the game before you get to Vegas and you talk to Mr. House. What's going on here?
If you've always wanted to play Fallout New Vegas but had no action starting out, so you can properly explore and level up before taking on all the organizations. Stealth will be a huge boon to you in fights or in situations where you don't want to aggro everything and just go on your way.
I agree.
Stealth damage usually gives you a pretty big bonus too, so you're encouraged to try and sneak quite a bit if that's your style. Stealth will come in handy when you're in the first few areas and get a bit overwhelmed by the amount of...
So she doesn't mention, if we look at the top left-hand corner, it says sneak attack critical. So what's happening, why your sneak attacks do so much damage is when you sneak, they don't see you coming, your first shot is a sneak attack critical, which is a guaranteed critical. Instead of relying on your luck to get a critical by chance, you get a critical automatically when you sneak up on someone and attack them. So you want to be doing that. If you can combine this with perks like finesse and better criticals and build to destroy, which is a tree in the beginning, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
And get a bit overwhelmed by the amount of enemies in a building. Sneak around to get stealth kills and take on enemies one by one instead of alerting them all to gang up on you. Loot everything. A lot of buildings can be looted, and you can find some interesting nooks and crannies in the Mojave Desert. Discovering new areas also give you XP, and you'll be able to fast travel from point to point. This will then, in turn, make selling your junk much easier and faster, since you can just fast travel to a town with a vendor. Explore to unlock more fast...
Another thing you want to do is go to Novak, and in the storyline, if you do come fly with me after talking to Manny Vargas, they will give you a hotel room, and you can come and you can put weapons there that you don't necessarily want to sell, and you could treat it like it's your own room. You could have like inventory space, you could use the bed, you could get well rested for an XP boost, so that's very beneficial.
Travel locations and get some XP while doing it. Food and drinks in New Vegas have status effects that can help you in fights. Make sure to pop your refreshment of choice before a fight so you can be best buffed and prepared. The effects usually don't last too long, but it should be enough to help you out in whatever skirmish you may be in.
So I actually kind of agree with what she's saying, and you can do that, and I want to take it a step further and kind of build on this. So the worst time to take a stim pack or like a purified water or anything that's going to give you a boost, like a health boost to your health points, but not over time, an instantaneous boost. So with stim pack, you hit it and you go from 20 to 60. But with Sunset Spirilla, you go up a certain amount over time, so it takes some time to kick in. So the best time, if you know you're going to fight someone soon, you want to take the heals that take over time. So if you're walking into a fight, like, oh, I'm going to fight in 5 minutes, start drinking that stuff. Or after a fight, start drinking it if you're sure all the enemies are good. But in the middle of a fight, if you're looking to heal fast, like you're gonna die, you want a stim pack because you get that consistent boost. So you always want to think like, what do I want to heal with right now? Food or stim pack? Temporary, not temporary, over time or right now.
And that's it. You're ready to set off and seek vengeance for the man who shot you in the
How much
head.
are they paying
Best
these
of
people
luck
at
out there,
IGN?
courier.
Come on.
For more Fallout New Vegas tips and tricks, be
All right.
sure to stay right
We're
here
out.
at IGN.